Feel free to check out my TeePublic after the video, and support me on Patreon. Watch till the end of the video for more. This video was commissioned by Patreon supporter Dangbirds. If there's something you'd like for me to cover on the channel, feel free to commission me on Patreon. As video games evolved over the years, the medium was able to open doors to tell interactive stories in unique ways. In the mid to late 90s, survival horror games were starting to become a big trend, with games such as The Clock Tower and Resident Evil. And in 1999, Konami, back when they were a competent company, developed Silent Hill, which has become a staple in the survival horror genre, and is considered to be one of the greatest video games of all time. This game made such a huge impression on French horror and fantasy director Christophe Gans of the live-action Crying Freeman, Brotherhood of the Wolf, and live-action Beauty and the Beast. Anyway, Gans loved Silent Hill so much that he spent 5 years trying to get the film rights, which he eventually got after showing Konami some test footage, which they felt was good enough to warrant a movie adaptation. But before I continue, I want to make something clear. I've never played a single Silent Hill game in my life. Crazy, huh? So I had to go into this movie completely blind. Man, if only I knew someone who was more familiar with the Silent Hill series. I wonder who that could be. Hello?
Holy crap, I didn't think anyone would pick up.
Tony, where have you been these past 2 years?
Alright, not too long ago, I moved into room 302 of this apartment. But a couple days ago, I woke up and I found out that I'd been locked in my own room. The door has been chained up with padlocks.
How?
No idea. But none of my neighbors, landlord, or anyone outside could hear me.
Well then, want to help review the Silent Hill movie with me?
Oh yes!
Oh, the Silent Hill movie from 2006. The story is a direct adaptation of the first game with creative liberties. Visually speaking, the town of Silent Hill is pulled straight from the games, from its heavy fog, foreboding atmosphere, and a haunting music by Akira Yamaoka, minus the snow being replaced with ash. The story, on the other hand, is a whole different can of worms. The story of the original game follows Harry Mason, a father taking his daughter Cheryl to the town of Silent Hill on vacation. After a car wreck and being saved by Officer Sybil Bennett, it's up to Harry to find out why the town is infested with monsters and seemingly disconnected from the rest of the world, all while trying to find Cheryl. Now, with the success of Paul W.S. Anderson's Resident Evil movie, the filmmakers thought it would be best to change the main protagonist into Sharon's, not Cheryl, don't ask why the kid's name was changed, Sharon's mother, Rose De Silva. Now, I wouldn't really have a problem with this if her other half was deceased. In the game, Harry Mason's wife died of an unknown disease. In the movie, Rose's husband Christopher serves as the B-plot of the movie, which honestly drags the pacing of the movie, considering that Rose is the character used for the audience to fill in, while Christopher doesn't really serve much of the plot, but to show that Silent Hill is a separate plane of reality. Plus, it would have been cool to see Sean Bean play Harry Mason if you consider what happens to the character in Silent Hill 3.
Hey, I found a hole in my bathroom wall. I'm gonna check inside.
Alright, good luck with that. I'm gonna start the review now. We're introduced to a mother named Rose, played by Rhoda Mitchell, who saves her daughter Sharon, played by Jodelle Ferland, from sleepwalking off a cliff as she proceeds to remind us what the movie is called. As a means to help cure her daughter from sleepwalking, she takes her to a town called Silent Hill. Why not just go to an actual hospital? They probably don't have health insurance. Along the way, Rose and Sharon come across a police officer named Sybil, played by Laurie Holden, who can't help but find Rose's behavior a little suspicious and erratic. And while she's about to get pulled over by Sybil, Rose quickly races off and eventually gets into a car accident that knocks her out, and upon waking up, Sharon is missing and she has to find her. Though I gotta say, easily the movie's biggest strength is the atmosphere. Silent Hill looks pretty haunting, and from what little I know of the video games, they seem to have gotten the overall look down very well. This also brings me to the creatures in Silent Hill, as most of them are played by professional dancers, and they're all sorts of weird and creepy. But the biggest draw out of all of them is Pyramid Head, played by Italian stunt choreographer Roberto Campanella. Tony, you there?
Yeah, I've been wandering around and it just got weird.
How weird?
You don't want to know. Anyways, what point of the movie you're on?
Pyramid Head just showed up.
Oh boy, do I got a rant for you!
Now we're dwelling into one of my bigger issues of the movie, using characters from the games without any context they had. Pyramid Head is a recurring enemy from Silent Hill 2. He is a literal manifestation of the main character's inner guilt and dark sexual temptations. He had actual meaning behind him. In the Silent Hill movie, he's just there because it's something that the fans of the games would notice, and the cult of the movie. Making the Order just a crazy cult of people living in Silent Hill has to be one of the worst creative changes. The way the Order is portrayed in the games is miles more terrifying than what the movie shows. In the games, the Order is a doomsday cult that took advantage of a tortured little girl with psychic powers to bring upon their god. In the movie, they burned some random girl because they thought she was a witch.
Anyways, I'm gonna find a way out of here.
While Rose is searching around for her daughter, she is joined by Sybil as well as another woman named Anna, played by Tanya Allen. The search brings them all to a church while the town transitions into the dark dimension, only for Rose and Sybil to enter safely while Anna just gets fucking flayed by Pyramid Head, Jesus Christ. However, the people in the church they go into are some sort of strange religious cult called the Brethren, whose high priestess is Christabella, played by Alice Creed. And they're all quick to call Rose and Sybil witches, blaming them for the crazy stuff that's been happening. It's also here when Rose learns of the backstory of the strange Alessa girl, and that during a ritual, an accident took place and burnt her entire body, causing her rage to split her soul into two beings, Alessa and Sharon. Oh yeah, there's also Alessa's mother, Dahlia, played by Deborah Kara Unger, but unfortunately she isn't given much to do here. Rose allows Alessa's spirit to enter her body, and while a ritual is taking place, Sybil is burned to death and Christabella tries to kill Rose, only for Alessa to emerge from her blood and kill all the cultists. Oh hey, the movie's at the—
Here we go again!
Okay, first off, Sybil dies if the player is aiming to get the bad ending of the game. Lisa Garland was one of the most tragic characters of the game and gradually showed the player what happened to Alessa. Instead, the movie has this flashback and a close-up of her face, and again, this right here is a Silent Hill 2 boss who had a crap ton of backstory, only to be reduced to Alessa at the end of the movie. What the hell is it with video game movies half-assing the writing for side characters? At the very least, this movie's good eye candy, as long as you can handle its inferior story that's hard to latch onto.
Overall, this movie's pretty alright. You can kind of see Christoph Gans's passion for the games come through in some areas, especially when it comes to the atmosphere, lighting, set pieces, creature designs, and special effects, even if they show their age a little. What is a bit of a turnoff, however, is how the story is written. At the very least, it's competent, but some things, including some characters, just felt added in for the sake of hitting that 2-hour sweet spot. I feel like the film could have been condensed in that aspect, as it would have also helped with the pacing. I wasn't too sold on the characters either, as I felt they were very one-note, but they work with the kind of story that was being told, so don't expect anything Oscar-worthy here.
They used to say this place was haunted. I think they were right.
Would I recommend Silent Hill? Yeah, kinda, but with a little caution. It's not a great film by any means, but it's nowhere near as bad as something Uwe Boll would make. And I say that's an accomplishment, even if it's not saying much. Hey there, just finishing up.
Okay, now that's over with. Apparently, I've been locked in here because of some sacraments, which explains why people around here are being reported as dead. So, could you come to South Ashfield to get me out of here?
I'd like to, but this movie's got me pretty interested in playing the original PS1 game. Call me when you fix that hole in the wall.
Damn it.
Hey everyone, DaikaijuTony needs your help, and all you gotta do is support the channel on Patreon, where you can get access to the TitanGoji Discord server, early access to videos, and exclusive content. You can also commission video requests just like what Dangbirds did and receive a t-shirt from my TeePublic. And once I reach enough patrons, I'll do a video covering several unmade Godzilla movies, so if that's something you'd like to see, then go support me on Patreon. Feel free to like, share, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and this is TitanGoji, signing off.